Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
officially Thursday. We are back in the office this morning going over the biggest cases in the country, and right now they're all having a disturbing political tone. That is correct. We've had a lot of violence that appears to be a radicalization of people with some left-wing ideology that feels because of the government, the Democrat Party, constantly calling people fascist, racist, oppressors, Nazis, we're coming for you, we're going to take you, rip you off the streets, instead of what it really is, and it's enforcing our immigration laws. They are now putting targets on ICE's back. You want to know why ICE won't unmask? Is because the Democrat Party wants to murder them. That's why they will not unmask. It's clear on the face, in my opinion, that we've got a problem with the Democrat Party. Okay, I'm not talking about the moms and pops out there that vote democratically. I'm talking about the party that those people are supporting. They're the ones trying to basically lynch Christianity and white folk, right? Racism. So we got racism, we got murder, we got left-wing ideology, we got destabilization by throwing criminals back on from the jails to harass and violate law-abiding American citizens. There are open borders. There are welcoming of drugs that are killing hundreds of thousands of American citizens every single year. This is an attack, okay? This is an attack on the fabric of America. That is the wage that these people on the left are displaying. I can tell you, you don't want it, okay? I can promise you America does not want what the Democrat Party is trying to do. And you guys need to dig deep, especially those that are here for information, especially those that are here from the Democrat Party that are our side partners, right? That's the way it should be, right? We don't always agree 100% of the time, but I can definitely think that the majority of Americans don't wish to have a bullet in their head for believing the way that they believe. I mean, raise your hand if you wish not to have a bullet in your head for being political or wanting to go vote your way. I mean, I don't want a bullet in my head or my neck or any part of my body, as a matter of fact. Who's going to stand in line to be shot first? I mean, come on, let's raise the hands, because I don't want to be shot for believing the way I believe, and I don't want somebody else that doesn't believe the way I believe be shot. But when you sit here and you see the violence going on, you know that it's from the rhetoric from the left, and they refuse to condemn it and continue to do it, then they're asking for it. They are in full support of us having our heads blown off. Okay? When you have an entire party not denouncing something and it keeps continuously happening, then they're asking for it to continue to happen. I don't know if we can continue to work with even our mom and pops of that party if they don't start opening their eyes, taking their blindfolds off, and realizing we don't want to be shot anymore. I am going to be fitted for a bulletproof vest soon. That's pretty stinking ridiculous. That is pretty stinking ridiculous. And that is exactly what the Democrat Party has done. I will not live in fear. I will just go and protect myself, right? It's not going to protect my head or my neck, right? But it will protect something. So many of you guys are asking, what in the hell is Right Move? Right Move Broadcasting is the new channel I'm developing. It's the new channel I am developing for our political information, for our news on the politics. It is it's a use of a prior account that was taken from me from some of these leftists themselves that came and tried to screw with my channel way several years ago. YouTube decided to give me my channel back. So now we're going to take that channel that they tried to destroy Bullhorn Betty with, and we're going to use it to make this country better. Aw, Melanie, it's nice to see you, love bug. Hopefully Sonia is telling you I'm really sorry. I haven't found the envelope yet, so I'll be speaking to my neighbor later this afternoon. Maybe it came in that day and he just forgot because it was a week ago, and he may have taken the stuff and set it in on his counter. I don't know. But God bless you. I appreciate you. I really do. And that goes for everybody. I see Outer Banks. It's nice to see you, Outer Banks. Let me just go through here and say hi to some of you people. Some of you people. Good gracious. I know, it really was. That was awful. That was awful, Betty. That was awful. Get your crap together. Lord Rod, it's nice to see you. Phoenix, Miranda, good morning, y'all. Pete, Lisa B. Always, Phil, Panda Bear's mom, it's nice to see you. The real me too. The Resin Mama, it's nice to have you over here. Amelia, Outer Banks, Pete, Big Mac Mike up in the house. Miranda, oh, Lisa B. Always been here for 16 months. You know I absolutely appreciate you. Little Orange Man, it's nice to see you. Unicorn, Indiana, hello, hello, hello. YouTuber, Star Child, Donna, good morning. Kathleen, it's nice to see you. Melanie, our beautiful Pebbles up in the house. Frank, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have? Barbara, good morning. And of course, Melanie, thank you for that super sticker, or super chat rather. Thank you so much, Love Bug. I hope you're doing well. Who else do we have? I think we got everybody, at least on now. There's Sonia. Good morning, Sonia. It's nice to see you as well. So as you guys know, I anticipate some of this stuff going to be, settling down. If it's true crime, it's going to be on our true crime channel. But obviously, this is kind of picked a beast in me. And I can no longer sit idly by and not be talking, especially when all of our true crime stuff was, set up just to facilitate me being able to do my political stuff. But at once upon a time, we were all shamed, silenced, and everything else from social media. So we had to get creative to help our political landscape. And the best way I could find that is what was my passion really about. And it's really about the safety of Americans. So how are we going to get safety of Americans in a situation where we have, censorship from our social media companies? Well, how we do it is we talk about true crime and how these laws can affect. Because if I had to take, several options, what would be the best path forward? What am I most passionate about? And my most passionate item is obviously safety of our people, our children, our elderly, our disabled, people at disadvantage, and of course just regular old American citizens, that just need to be safe and get on with life so they can have, they can live with their head in the sand. I want people to be able to live with their head in the sand and not have to think of the big bad ugly out there in the real world. So this is it. Right Move Broadcasting. I haven't developed this show yet. It's in the infancy stages. So we've just got a logo, and that's about it. Okay? We've just got a logo. I haven't developed on what I want to do. Do I want to make it like more of a commentary? Do I want to be biased, unbiased? Where do I want to take this channel? I got to play the tape through before we start rolling it out. But just because we've been talking about it, I told you I was going to be developing a channel. That is going to be the channel right there. It's going to be Right Move Broadcasting. I think this is going to be the best way to develop our opinions and stuff based on real world information that will be coming in. But until that time, until I finish developing the channel and get everything set up here on OBS, we will be rolling with the crime stories here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. And of course, we're learning a little more information. Brian Enton kind of gave us a breakdown of what was happening. And I see that I am having some problems here with my, there we go. My setup. It ain't wanting to work very well for me. There we go. There we go. All right, let's get that. I'm going to be playing around with these things. I probably need to set them up on their own ones. But it just, you know, it takes a little bit longer. I really don't like spending a whole lot of time on this crap. You guys know me, right? We want to get the information out, but we're trying to make it more, you know, like people like seeing me and like seeing the full screen. And it's, you guys are so blessed picky. I'm just trying to say, you guys are picky. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have to go through all of this and make it all nice. I would just come out here and just say it like it is and just be done with it. But you guys insist, absolutely insist on visual aids. So I you know me, I got to give you guys what you want as long as it's in reason. So even though it annoys the living snot out of me, I will give you what you want. I will give you what you want, okay? I am just saying. People pleaser Betty does exist, okay? I know you don't believe it. I mean, we do have a strong reputation to uphold, but, you know, I am a people pleaser, believe it or not. I think that was unnecessary. I think that was just rude, okay? I'm just saying, I think that was just rude.
Hey, I don't care. I really don't care.
Just thought I'd throw that out there because I'd hate to have to pull out this button. Just saying. You know it's dangerous. You know it's dangerous when we start. Oh boy. Oh boy. You want the word buttons. You want the word buttons. As soon as it gets to the... All right, we're done with the buttons. All right. What does Brian Enton have to say? What does Brian Enton has to say? If anybody knows anything about Brian Enton I absolutely love. If you know anything about Bullhorn Betty, I'm not a fan of mainstream media. I'm not a fan of mainstream media at all. My sister's part of mainstream media. I love my sister. Okay, so don't think that, you know, I love my sister, but I have some fellow friends, people that I idolize that are in the biz. And a few of those people are Nancy Grace, you know, Vinnie Politan, and of course, Brian Enton. And the reason why I'll be going today on LF, my channel is doing, oh, thank you. Well, why don't you send Sonia the link to your channel and she can drop it in the chat for you so people can go over there and check your stuff out. That would be great. That would be great. One of those very people is Brian Enton. I spent a lot of time with Brian Enton out in front of the Bryan Laundry home, weeks as a matter of fact. We conferred almost every single day. It was hard not to, along with everybody else that was out there. We were out there with people from Europe, France, Mexico, America, from one side of this country to another. It was an international story. And that's where I got to meet Brian Enton. And he is definitely, had I not met him, especially with News Nation, I'm not really a News Nation fan by any stretch of the imagination. I do not like Chris. I do not care for Ashley, okay? I do not care for the News Nation brand, but I do love Brian Enton. So because of my love and loyalty to Brian Enton, I grin and bear where he works, but he's still an amazing reporter. He's an amazing investigative journalist, and he never gives up until he gets to the bottom of it. That's why I like him, okay? For no other reason than that, because he is not, in my opinion, mainstream media. Because, if you know, just like Vinnie Politan and Nancy Grace, I don't consider them mainstream media. I consider them one of us, you know, because they dig. They want to know the truth, and they don't really care about local governments or stepping on people's toes. You know, that's what we love about them. So I wonder what Brian Enton has uncovered, but, you know, this whole idea of these people utilizing these roofs, businesses, lock your blessed doors. Any type of roof access from this point forward that is bordering any type of government building, it is the business's responsibility to secure their rooftop and make sure there's safety. Because to be honest with you, because of the negligence of this business, if I was those people the victims, I'd be suing the business that he perched up on. Okay? I would be suing that business. I'm sorry, I would be. I would be suing that business, and I would be suing any other business that allows and freely allows people to have access to these type of ranges across the street from government buildings. There has to be something more done here. Okay, these are target spots. These are soft targets. People are not paying attention to up above. Clearly, we got Trump twice, we got, well, I guess once was up above. We definitely got Charlie Kirk, just came back from that memorial. You guys watch me break down here on this show over Charlie Kirk, a person that I knew, a person that I had just seen just a couple months ago at the SAS event in Tampa. I can't tell you guys how angry I am. And I just want the whole world to hear and see what is truly going on. This is not normal. These people are carving bullets. These people are leaving messages on bullets. It seems like the same group, MO. Okay? So this is something that is organized. This is something, whether they're good shooters or not, this is definitely organized. This is finding the people that are willing to do this. How far is the brainwashing gone? This is not the first event like this on an ICE agency in this area, from what I'm hearing. So there's a lot to do with this mass violence event, okay? This mass violence event. Now, I did do some research. I am hearing about Mom. I do not like Mom, okay? I do not like Mom at all. I think Mom is poison, okay? I think Mom poisoned her children. I think Mom should be in jail. That's my personal preview into this case. I think Mom is the problem. I think she's encouraged and inspired her children, all of them, not just this guy. But I guess only time will tell when the truth is revealed, because again, I'm going off what people are saying and stuff that I'm seeing and reading, right? But are these people truly with firsthand knowledge? That's where my opinions vary, because when we have good intel, we can make assessments based on good intel. When we have bad intel, we're making good assessments on bad intel, which gives you still a bad result. So we want the information to come in, but from where I'm sitting, it looks like Mom's the problem. Okay, I'm going to start calling out all of these liberal people. Okay, most of them are liberal white women. They are the most destructive to our country. I will tell you that sitting here as a white woman. I will tell you the most destruction in our country come from liberal white women. Okay? They have no care for human life. They are the most narcissistic, psychotic people you could ever meet. They flip out when things don't go their way, but they don't want to let anything go anybody else's way. So as a white woman, I'm going to tell you the most vile, disgusting person on this free earth is a heartless, liberal, middle-aged white woman. If you have a problem with it or you're offended, you're probably who I'm speaking of. So be offended, because that's my opinion. I'm going to force feed my opinion down people's throat that wants to kill me for my opinion. And if that's not you, and you feel like your party's getting a bad name, then it's your responsibility to stand up and speak up and denounce the nonsense going on in this country. It is not my responsibility to make you feel comfortable, okay? Because I can tell you, as a conservative Christian white woman, not one person has ever made it easy for me to be that, okay? And I'm one of these, I don't know, good for the goose, good for the gander type of country Christian women. So I really don't care if it hurts your feelings, because you never cared whether it hurt mine. And so I am of the opinion, if you can throw it, you better catch it. Just saying. Just saying. That's how I can do what I do. All right, guys, so let's hear what Brian Enton has to say about this case. But I can tell you, I think the world is starting to see where the problem is. They're starting to reject the problem. We're starting to close down funding because of the problem. We're willing to shut our government down right now to keep this money out of these animals' pockets. Because all they are trying to do is launder the American people's money to pay for all of this destruction around our country. And we say hell to the nah. Shut the government down. We will not comply. We will not give in to Schumer. Shut the government down. That is what the stance is of the Bullhorn Betty channel. If you don't want to support that, then by God, don't support it. But that's what this channel is supporting. We're going to be supporting the president in shutting this government down if Schumer wants to extort $1.5 trillion from the American people. We're not going to give in. We are not going to give in. We will grin and bear it. We are going to go through fire and go through hell in this country to get this country put back in place, and I am going to stand right beside and support this kind of stuff because we are not going to deal with this anymore. Did you see the clip about pregnant women taking? Yes. Yes, and it's sick, but you know what? You can't, if they're going to screw up their children, they're the ones that are going to have the lifelong effects of screwing up their children. And it's sad that people are so vindictive that they would harm their child just to prove a point. And when their child is deformed or has problems, they're going to be spending the rest of their life dealing with it. And some of these autistic children are very, very violent because they don't know how to express themselves. And again, to all these people that choose to defy the actual science, when you have that child, just deserts because you deserved it. How dare you risk a child? How dare you risk a child? These are people, but the left has no problem murdering children of the womb. They have no problem. They don't have any, they don't care about human life. I mean, it's pretty clear that they don't care about children. They don't care about elderly. They don't, I mean, unless you're a foreigner or a Mexican, I don't think, here illegally, excuse me, because American Mexicans are getting the shaft as well. So unless you're a foreigner or here illegally, the Democrat Party really doesn't care about you. They only want your money to pay for the illegals. And, you know, they want everything but American. So I don't know how people can support that, but, you know, to each their own. I'm definitely not going to support that. I'm definitely not going to support that. And I'm not going to keep supporting the senseless homicide of many people because we got left-wing nuts out there that nobody wants to call out and just keep spewing the same things, creating the same left-wing nuts that are putting bullets in all of the conservative people, okay? Like, how many more examples do we need very recently? We are under attack. We are under attack from the left. And if you don't believe me, go show me somebody that has denounced this from the left. And I'm not talking about Fetterman, which should be a Republican anyways. Hey, we'll change you Fetterman for Tom Massey. Can we do a trade? I'd like to trade at this point. Can we trade Fetterman for Massey? I think that's going to be a fair trade. I mean, or we'll give you Rand Paul. We'll give you Rand Paul. I'm willing to make a trade, right? I mean, the sports teams do it all the time. Why can't we do it? Like, I want Massey and Paul out. I want Massey and Paul out. Okay. Let's see what they got to say.
According to investigators who showed up here, got up in one of the buildings behind the ICE facility and started shooting just basically all over the place. Ended up hitting 3 migrants.
I don't even think he was aiming, or he didn't even know how to aim. It just sounds like he was sporadically just peppering the area. Is that what you guys are getting from all of this? That he just picked up this long gun and just started peppering the crowd? Do we know if it was like a 30-06 or if it was, you know, like the other guy, or if this was just like bird shot? Was it buckshot? Was it a shotgun? I mean, what are we dealing with here? Have we heard? Does anybody know? One of those pregnant women is already in the hospital for taking Tylenol, kidney failure. She will not survive. These people are stupid. I mean, they are so brainwashed. They are so blessed brainwashed. Are you serious? What an idiot. And you know what the worst part about it is? is we feel bad for these people. We pray for these people. We didn't want this to happen to them, but you can lead a horse to water. You can't force them to drink, you know? And it just shows you how brainwashed this Democrat Party has done to not even half the population. You guys are in the minority. And as we keep deporting the non-voter voters out of the country, your minority shrinks even more. Okay? I hate to burst your bubble, but outside, the Democrat Party isn't as popular as they want you to make it believe. Like they are, if you haven't noticed the map, the whole map's red. I mean, you got a few dots that are blue that actually make a difference. They're counting on all these inner cities that they've woven with all of this crime problems, destabilizing those communities for profit. For profit. What do you mean for profit? Well, think about it. Every time they turn around, they're going to the federal government for grants and everything to help with their crime. Well, where the hell does all that money go? It ain't going to help crime because the crime keeps rising and it's a perpetual cycle, that rat wheel where they just keep coming back with their hand out. They have to show that they've got a lot of crime to ask for those crime grants, right? So they're literally allowing people to murder their citizens for money. In my opinion, I find that sick. But I also believe that when we had COVID, they were murdering people in the hospitals for the $125,000 a head. You are more profitable dead than alive. Prove me wrong. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. But anyways, let's get back on topic. We're gonna have to rein it in. Let's keep with the facts here.
One of the migrants, an ICE detainee, was killed. I know one of them is in critical condition. The shooter took his own life, apparently had anti-ICE written on one of the bullets.
Now, come on. They're trying to say, oh my God, just because he had anti-ICE written on the bullets, that he might have been a MAGA. You notice how they always try to turn this around because they can't handle the fact that it's one of theirs again. It's one of theirs again. So now we have all these idiots and pundits out there. Oh my God, it's MAGA. You can't. I mean, we've got the federal government saying, hell, we even have the Vice President of the United States telling you. We got a very liberal mother that beat the crap into these children about hating Trump, wanting to murder. Come on. Mom's a problem. She needs to be in jail. She has warped her children's minds. But at the end of the day, we got a liberal mom, a liberal family, and a psychopath that's on the top of a roof with a gun that says anti-ICE on it, okay, on the bullets. I think, 2 + 2 = 4. I mean, I don't know, but some of these hotheads out here think 2 + 2 = 8 or 10, because they feel like it should. It's like the pronouns. How do you feel today? Well, I feel like a cat. No, I feel like a parrot. No, I think I'll be a boy today. Maybe a girl. I'm not quite sure, but hey, we're supposed to say that's normal. Okay. Okay, Cupcake. Got it. Got it. Poor kid. I would say poor kid, but 29 years old. 29 years old. What is going? I told you guys it's something with our 20-somethings in our early 30s. Again, that assessment still proves to be what? True. And this is, how many times have we said that? This makes what, 10 times now? 12 times now over the last 5 years? Interesting. But hey, I'm 90% is coming from our side. The ones that go out into arenas and pray. We're the violent ones. We're the ones that are trying to create genocide. We're the dictators. We're the fascists. Why? Because we go into a church and pray? That makes us horrible because we believe in a Bible that says there's one woman and one man? If you don't believe in what we believe, then why even pay attention to it? Just live your life. But see, that's not what they want. They want genocide, in my opinion. Because why target Christians?
I'm looking into everything that happened. I'm looking into the shooter. I'm looking into the motivation. I've got Tracy Walder, former CIA officer and FBI agent out here with me. I'm going to get into all of it in this edition of Brian Ensign Investigates. Hey guys, so I'm outside the ICE facility here in Dallas. This is where the shooting happened, the awful shooting this morning.
We used to be everywhere Brian Enton was. That's what was so cool. I've been sitting, but things are going to be changing, guys. Things are uplifting. You guys will hear about that over the next week or two. Things are starting to move on and move up. I figure 2026 is going to be a great year for us to be getting back out in the field. It's going to be, I can tell you, based upon allowing my body not to do the stuff I was doing prior. Doing what I normally always do, you know, with the Charlie Kirk, you know, that whole standing in line thing days early is not uncommon for me to do. If you guys know the people I associate with, we're very much known for showing up days early and standing in line. So it's not uncommon, but I gotta tell you, I haven't done it in like a year and a half. And let me tell you, I was worn out. Now, granted, that was a different animal, a beast, all of its own. Holy smokies. That was insane. Absolutely, utterly insane. Over 200,000 people. But when we were standing in line, there was at least 10 to 20,000 people behind me. And that was the most insane I have ever seen. I have never seen a wall of people of like that in my life. But, like I said, I hadn't done it. Your muscles, like you condition your body doing stuff. Like when I was always out in the swamps searching for people, my body was conditioned to deal with the heat, to store in waters and stuff like that because it was what we were doing regularly. Well, now we haven't been out in the field looking for people or searching for people or bringing that content to you live. So I expect to go through a lot. Remember all those body aches when we we got to go through all of that again. We got to go through all the body aches again. But we're going to be getting back out in the field. We'll start being at these news areas live and in person.
I've been compiling information all day about exactly what unfolded, about the shooter. I'm going to get to it all. Basically, this all started at 6:40 a.m. here. ICE facility is right behind me. That is when authorities say a sniper opened fire from a nearby rooftop about 450 feet away. Or so, and shot indiscriminately, and the word indiscriminately is important here, and I'm going to explain why in a second, at the ICE building, shot at a van in the Sallyport, and that is where the victims were actually shot. 3 detainees were shot, 1 was killed, the other 2 were injured, and we know that at least 1 of them is in critical condition. And then the gunman was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The 3 detainees were in the country illegally, according to ICE, and they weren't supposed to stay at this facility. They were actually just being processed here at this facility, and then they were going to be moved to a longer-term facility. So this is interesting. This photo is released of bullets from up on the rooftop from where the shooter was, and you can see it says anti-ICE. So it appears based on what the shooter wrote on the bullets,
Can anybody tell me?
That person was anti.
Those look like sniper bullets. Like I watched that you know. Those look like sniper bullets. Those don't look like any type of like I've had 2.23 rounds, 5.5, whatever, you know, whatever the equivalent of that is. 2.23, 5.57 or something like that. I don't remember. It was my husband's firearm that I had, you know, fixed for him to look like a, you know, tough gun. And I didn't have things that look like this come in a box. I mean, they came in a box. This looks like something that's pushed up in there in a block. And that reminds me of that Steel Metal Jacket, you know, movie. The Steel Metal Jacket movie is the only time I saw stuff like that, and they had their 30-06 bullets look similar. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't look like the same type of bullets that we saw in Charlie Kirk's death. They weren't like this. Looks like they're on a block. I mean, do you guys, let me see if I can get up here. Right here. This right here is the problem. Right here. It's like they're attached. Like they're, it's just weird. It looks like that just goes up into the clip. I don't know what the hell that is. Because I could have, I'm almost positive I've shot a long 30-06. I mean, my dad had all types of guns. And I don't recall seeing any bullets like this in the house. You know? I really didn't. And they started saying sniper. Yes, mine didn't look like that, but mine was a semi-automatic. Yeah, most of our stuff today is semi-automatic, except with those long guns. Those long guns are individually, typically. You know, I haven't seen or haven't owned a long gun that's semi-automatic. Well, I guess, you know, I guess they're all kind of semi-automatic. Not really, because they don't really you know, you got to pump or, you know, move. Like, there's more to a long gun than there is a handgun. Like, handguns are semi-automatic, but, you know, and I could be wrong about this. I'm by far not a gun expert, especially long rifles and stuff like that, but I have never heard of one that auto ejects, you know. It's usually manual. So, you know, you got to load, shoot, load, shoot, load, shoot. You're the loader. You know, semi-automatic implies that something is already, like with a firearm, it usually expresses the casing out to the right or the left, and then it automatically loads the next into the chamber for you. So you just have to pull the trigger, boom, 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 without actually physically having to load that. But it's much different, in my opinion, with the long guns, because you don't have where a feeder, so to speak. You can load, but you have to physically unload those, you know, casings. You gotta, you know, anyways. And here's one. GGF5 says she has a 270 deer rifle and it's semi-automatic. That's the first. You know, like I said, I'm not with the long gun so much. When I go to the shooting range, I'm not bringing a long gun. I want a shotgun for my front door, but you know, I want the shotgun not loaded, or you know, not for just. Sorry, but when somebody breaks in your house and they hear a shotgun going chit chit, like it almost is deafening. Like it's gonna make you stop in your tracks. That's what I want. I want the intimidation. Would I use it? Of course I would. But that's the, you know, I've never gotten one, but I've always, the only one that I have ever shot almost took my shoulder off. So it's not like I'm aspiring to use one, right? But I think it's interesting because the bullets, I don't know what these bullets or what these go to. If somebody's been in the military, can you guys tell me? I feel like these are military looking bullets, you know? And I'm curious because we don't know we haven't seen a picture of the firearm used in this attack, just that the young man is deceased. So interesting.
Anti-ICE. But what's strange is, and his name, by the way, is 29-year-old Joshua John, which I'm going to get to sort of what I know about him in a second. But he wrote on the bullet anti-ICE, but what's strange is he ended up shooting only migrants.
So the conspiracy theory is that because he only shot immigrants instead of the ICE agents, that they feel like this was like trickery or something like that. Flip says they're blackouts. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good at all. Anything that doesn't sound like they should be in the hands of a crazed 29-year-old. But I really do believe that it's possible that he was just allowed, like people, you know, people think that being able to be on a rooftop and get a perfect shot, they think that's easy. Okay, I can assure you it's not. That's one of the reasons why when how shocked we were with Tyler, because that looked like a targeted hit. Like that looked like a professional hitman. From the marksman for Charlie Kirk looked very professionally marked hitman. Okay. And that's 200 yards away, 2 football fields. That is a hard shot. I don't care what anybody tells you, unless you are like literally a pro with the gun, or you know, I went hunting with my father. I know how to handle firearms. I know for a fact I would have never been able to hit that as perfectly as Tyler. So this other kid being on a rooftop trying to shoot down with moving objects, it sounds like the vehicles were moving. They were in transit when this fire they started coming under fire. So if that's the case, that's the reason why he hit the other people. It's because he was shooting at them, but he wasn't aiming at any specific target. He was just peppering the area. It sounds like he was a knucklehead. Okay? It sounds like he was having depression. He hates his life, and he figured one of those people that are just going to take out everybody else. But I truly believe that's what whoever is behind this wants us to believe. Once again, lone wolf type of situation. And it's not. It's not. And when they go up and see politician after politician not condemning it and basically encouraging more, we're going to continue to have more. Right now, I despise the Democrat Party. I despise the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party is allowing this to continue to go on unchecked and without calling it what it is. Political violence that they're creating. We cannot forgive somebody without them asking for forgiveness. We cannot get past a situation without them acknowledging the situation. And that's where we are right now, where we're having gunfire pointed our direction and nobody on the left, not even the mom and pops. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people leaving in droves. That's not good enough. Sticking your tail between the legs and going and changing your party from Democrat to Republican is seriously not fixing the problem. You know what's fixing the problem is each and every person standing up and condemning it and forcing the politicians that work for them to do the same on a public platform. That's what it's going to take. And until that happens, well, you create the monster, you deal with the monster. But I can tell you every single bullet that keeps flying this way, there's only going to be so much we're going to take. Because when Charlie was killed, that was it for me. That was my line in the sand. That was my line in the sand. I don't know what your line in the sand is. But that was my line in the sand. We'll see how many more bodies end up showing up courtesy of the Democrat Party. I have a funny feeling we're going to be on the Bullhorn Betty channel, a true crime channel, for a little while because the Democrats want everybody dead. They're committing genocide, in my opinion. They're attacking the Christian faith and the people that reside in the Christian faith.
None of the ICE agents were hit, and so it appears if he was shooting indiscriminately, maybe he was trying to shoot the agents and only shot the migrants. We don't really know. But he also shot inside the facility. You can see there's these pictures where you can see bullet holes in the windows of the facility.
Yeah,
and
he was shooting at the people inside.
You can see a bullet went right through a flag, an American flag, inside the ICE facility. So, as I said, the shooter is 29-year-old Joshua John. Records that I've seen.
I'm sorry, seeing those bullets in those windows, that tells me his target absolutely was that facility. Not the immigrants that he ultimately took their life and hurt and injured. It was the ICE agents. I'm sorry. It is. And of course, the left will try to say, oh, well, we don't know this because they don't want to own the fact of what they're doing to our country. We're going to hold their feet to the fire. I promise you that. I'm not letting go.
Show that his parents live in Collin County, which is not far from Dallas, and Dallas police have confirmed that police there are also assisting with the investigation. After John was identified as the alleged shooter, his brother talked to NBC News, said that he didn't believe his brother was especially interested in politics.
Okay, now this is something that I think every single one of you guys need to know. How did NBC talk to his brother before his name was even released? You guys can go ahead and take that to the conspiracy bank right there, because I am going to be questioning that until the cows come home. It was in the NBC article that they were talking to him as he was being notified of his brother. So how did NBC know the name and who this person was, and was literally in front of his brother, speaking to his brother before his name was ever even released. How did NBC do that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They knew. They knew. And the reason why it was pointed out to me is because I went and checked out some stuff from Benny Johnson. And he went over it. He surely went over it.
Politics, had not voiced his opinions on immigration before. He was quoted as saying he didn't have strong feelings about ICE as far as I know. And he said that his brother was unemployed but had previously worked as a coder. He also added that his brother knew how to use a rifle that his parents owned, but insisted that he is not a marksman, which, again, I mean, if he was trying to shoot at ICE agents based on that anti-ICE.
Yeah, he is not a marksman whatsoever. But he's a coder. Coders have a much like an engineer's mind. So you guys see the type of people we're dealing with here. The smart people, which again are the most easily brainwashed and manipulated, according to many studies. It's easier to brainwash a smart person than it is a dumb person. I don't know why. You would think it would be just the opposite, but statistics show that that's the truth. Because smart people, according to them, are more open to different types of concepts. And that's why it allows them to be more easily swayed. So it's not the dumb people, it's the smart people. And we're finding that all too often these smart people are the ones taking these very lethal stances. So let's get over here and hear what we know about this.
After a sniper killed Charlie Kirk, another sniper opens fire at a Dallas ICE facility, killing a detainee and injuring 2 others. Officials are calling this a target attack, but the alleged shooter, investigators found casings at the scene etched with the word anti-ICE. Let's bring in former Assistant FBI Director Chris Wecker. Chris, thanks so much for joining the program. I want to go big picture, and I don't want to scare the public out there, but I do want to talk about the current threat. We
need to start scaring the public out there because this is a real threat, and I'm getting sick and tired of our government downplaying these attacks on the Republican and conservative movement. And that is exactly what it is. These ICE officers, let me be very clear, are enforcing laws that have been on the books for years. These are not new laws. They're not doing things. The only reason why they're having to pull these people off the streets is because they have no cooperation from the states or the local governments, and they still have to do their job. And so what those local governments want our agents to do is come and beg them, please. We're not doing that. Okay? These are the laws in our country. These people broke into our country. They don't belong here. People are getting slaughtered out in those streets. We want them to go home and come back here the proper way. If they don't want to do that, then they're getting yoked up by the streets or whatever we authorize our agents to do. 83 million people went to the ballot box and requested this to be an effort done by our government. They're only doing the will of the people. They're also following the law, which everybody else wants to circumvent. So you're either for law and order or you're against law and order. But you don't get to pick and choose which laws you want to follow. You're either for the law or you're against the law. That's it. Black and white. Get on board or get ran over. Literally. Because to be honest with you, what I've been seeing our ICE agents going through, they're either going to start locking people up or there's going to be some bodies out there because I'm telling you, they have every right to run those people over that get in front of that truck and threatening their life. And I'm going to be one of those long, hard voices out there that says, run them over. Run them over. Because they're becoming a threat to our agents and the people inside those vans, which we clearly now found out the hard way. It shouldn't have taken the hard way. It shouldn't have taken the loss of life. It should never have taken the loss of life. But let me be very clear. What the ICE agents are doing is all above law. It's all above board. They have the rights to do this. So if you're interfering in law enforcement, then your ass either needs to go to jail, or if you're in front of a vehicle that's trying to run them over. If you're so stupid that you're going to get in front of a moving car that can kill you, well, that's not my problem. It's your stupidity that lost you your life. Many people lose their lives every year out of stupidity. Okay? Many people. Don't get in front of moving vehicles. If you choose to get in front of moving vehicles, then you're choosing death for yourself. Okay? And trust me, I don't know you. I ain't crying for you. It is not going to stop me from sleeping. It's not going to stop 83 million people from sleeping. We don't care. Okay? We leave that to our clergymen. They'll pray over you as they're giving your eulogy. But you're not going to find Bullhorn Betty there. Just quit getting in front of cars. Please. Protesting is not obstructing. I'm a professional protester. I do not break the laws, and I do not get in front of vehicles. And guess what? If any of my people got in front of vehicles, I would tell them just like that. If you get in front of that vehicle again and you get ran over, that is on you.
These snipers, you have the case of Dylan Roof on the roof. You have the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and now you have this situation as well. There's a real threat there. Should people be concerned?
Yeah, usually I say, you know, the chances of the general public being targeted like this, or the, you know, don't go out of your house type of warning, you know, I don't do that. But in this case, we are starting to see a real threat. And I do security consulting. That's right. And my mind goes to parades and events, public events where there's a lot of people gathered around. You know, in the Charlie Kirk rally, they could have targeted, that shooter could have targeted people.
I'm going to tell you, the target's going to quit. So the left, I'm going to tell you right now, you can take this to the bank. You keep targeting us. I'd say that you guys are more sitting ducks than half of us are. So, you know, I don't know what to say, but this can't keep going on, and it can't keep being this public, because there's going to be some crazy crazies that are just going to get, and you know what? Why would we sit there and denounce it since you guys didn't? I mean, this could really go on. This could get really, really bad. I really suggest the Democrat Party start speaking up and denouncing this violence and toning down the rhetoric, but they're not. They're actually telling people to get armed, to go out there and fight in the street. That's what they're telling their people. If you don't believe me, go to frickin' X. If you're not on X watching this stuff unfold, you need to be. This is getting crazy, and we are being targeted.
In the audience and taking out quite a few people, unfortunately. So yes, this is a clear and present danger right now. And any event, I think, at any event that's being planned right now, you got to account for the rooftops and there has to be all kinds of precautions that you wouldn't take ordinarily unless it was something like a presidential visit where you have Secret Service and you would expect to see that kind of security, or the Super Bowl. But now we're in a situation where we've got this viral epidemic of snipers, ideologically motivated, and I think motivated and indoctrinated by very irresponsible people in the public eye, who have nothing else in their game except to go out there.
Yeah, called teachers, social warrior teachers, and higher education. If you haven't noticed, take the warning from the federal government, and please do not enroll your children in higher education right now. They are turning out murderers, okay? Do you want your child to be a murderer? If not, keep them out of school for a while, okay? This is not the end of the world. They can get an education at local colleges, but please check those colleges out, because we need to stop the indoctrination. We need to stop the indoctrination, and we have not stopped the indoctrination yet. We saw it in a lot of people coming out of the closet during Charlie Kirk that was so happy. Teachers that are teaching our children were happy that an innocent man was murdered in front of the whole world. And those monsters are teaching your children. Those monsters are teaching your children. They're teaching your children to hate. When we have our children, what is the one thing that we want? I mean, even for my dog. I want her to love everybody. I incorporated her around cats. I've incorporated her around other people so she wouldn't be, trying to take somebody's hand off just for coming up and giving me a hug. I've done that to show to instill love and acceptance in my own animal from a whole variety of different animals from the animal world that don't normally belong together, but we incorporated them together so they didn't fight. Right? So when we have children, we want our children to love one another. Our children are so innocent and filled with so much curiosity and love and just genuine love, and you send them off to school to be taught hate? Keep your kids out of higher education. I'm working on, not just me, let me take that back. We're working on defunding higher education. People are like, don't do that. We have to. We have to, because what they're producing is sick.
There and be extreme to get themselves on the media and get attention.
So, Chris, let's talk about that. Because you talk about the radicalization, and typically, like for example, when we were fighting Al-Qaeda, this was online. Sure, you had inspiration videos from overseas, but you didn't have public officials within inside the country that were radicalizing them. You have this time the online aspect of this, right? You got the guys in their basement or on the video games, but you also have public officials making similar radical statements.
Yep.
So how do you combat that?
All systematically working in conjunction with one another as if it's a well-oiled machine. Everybody knows what their part is in this well-oiled machine. It's sick. And this is all perpetrated by one side of the aisle. And everybody's going to have to deal with that. As uncomfortable as it is to be a Democrat today, it is time for you to address yourself and check yourself. If you have a D next to your name, because there are conservative Democrats, whether you believe it or not, I know because I work with a lot of them. And I'll tell you just like I told them, it's time for you to check that D next to your name. Because what we're seeing is not right, and we know where it's coming from, and they do not dispute it. The only people that have disputed where this is coming from are liberals. That's it. The Democrats, they know where it's coming from. The Republicans know where it's coming from. The independents know where it's coming from. The only people denying where this is coming from are the liberals. Prove me wrong, as Charlie Kirk would say. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, so we worked a terrorism case here in North Carolina when I was the agent in charge, and we filed a RICO case against Hezbollah. And part of the RICO indicia, the evidence of the organization, were these indoctrination videos that they sent out that motivated the Hezbollah members to do all kinds of different things.
So I bet you that they're already researching. I'm starting to hear videos popping out. It sounds like videos might be indoctrinating people. So that does sound like there's a system in play by this. Is it from our own federal government or a foreign federal government with the assistance of some of our partners here in the United States of America? It's very scary stuff. Very scary stuff. But this is on a different aspect of it, not criminal. It's going to be more political. I think it's very important that you guys hear this. This is related to the Russia-Ukraine. But before we get there, I'm going to just talk about this. I thought President Trump did a great, he addressed the United Nations. I just want to tell you my position on the United Nations. I want to pull out of them. What the United Nations did to our country yesterday is absolutely wholly and fully unacceptable. They intentionally and willfully tried to injure our president and the First Lady. Again, unacceptable. They sabotaged the meeting, but because our president is so amazing, he was able to keep going without skipping a beat, even being sabotaged on 3 separate levels. I think it's appalling and disgusting, and I'm going to be working with politicians to remove us from the United Nations. I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I think Mike Lee, again, a representative I really don't care about too much, is kind of starting to lead the charge on removing us from the UN. I think we can get Marco Rubio on board with it. He's already signaled, in my opinion, that, everybody's kind of wondering what the UN really is designed for at this point. It's not functioning as it should. It's not helping on world matters. Our president is kind of having to deal with everything by himself without the support of the UN. However, we are paying the majority of the fees in the UN. The UN are not free countries. They are territories. Exactly. And I think it's time for us to pull out and quit paying our fair share. If they're going to be this disrespectful to our country, the people, and more importantly, our president and the first lady, it's unacceptable for me. It's unacceptable. But I will tell you, our President Trump rocked the house. He absolutely had uncomfortable things. He absolutely spoke his mind, and he didn't give a shit about anybody sitting in that room after everything that they have helped do for him. He is there for the American people, and only the American people. If they can help the other countries out, we will. But at what he's seeing right now, I don't see that being a possibility. So I'm not going to bore you guys with all the details and stuff of this, but I am going to take the few minutes for the Ukraine.
Local Ukrainians, as President Donald Trump appears to shift his tone regarding Russia's war in Ukraine. The president posting on social media that he now believes Ukraine could win back all of its territory, which has been lost to Russia. And this comes as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky rallies support from the United Nations today, asking world leaders to punish Russia. New here at 5 o'clock, Sarah Schulte hearing from local Ukrainian groups who hope the tide is turning toward an end to the war.
Just weeks after he urged Ukraine to take a deal from Russia to end the war, now President Trump has changed his tune, saying Ukraine can win the war. Ukrainians here in Chicago hope the president is serious. Ukrainian flags have flown high since the war with Russia began 3.5 years ago. But many here lost hope when President Trump dismissed Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky during the first meeting months ago.
Because he was being unreasonable. They had a path forward. Zelensky was, he was being rude, condescending. He just wasn't backing down. But the difference is now Russia decided to flex its muscle and start going into NATO territory and started trying to use intimidation factors. And not only that, but they have had to run off Russia from even our country in Alaska. And so now it's like, okay, Russia's kind of flexing their muscle, and it's like, we can't have that. They're not playing fair, and I think that this is what we needed to see in order for our president to start saying, okay, I tried this hard. Obviously, this man is, trying to play us, so we'll just have to make sure we secure the rest of the country or the rest of the world and be done with it. So he's trying to strangle off the European Union and European nations from purchasing oil and gas from energy from Russia. Like President Trump's like, you're funding your own war. Like, what are you guys doing over here? It seems like an oxymoron, but the people that are running the other side of the world aren't doing a very good job. And I know that there's some people that are here in our chat that are having to live through the nonsense going on over there. So hopefully that starts getting fixed.
And when Trump rolled out the red carpet on American soil for Russian leader Vladimir Putin in August, now Trump has reversed course.
Let them get their land back. Yep. So we'll see how it all works out.
Supporting Ukraine to get their land back is a major shift from a few weeks ago when Trump openly called for Ukraine to concede territory to Russia.
I really hope that this is going to be backed by real actions and real help for Ukraine.
While hopeful, Ukrainian organizations are cautious at the same time since President Trump's reversal did not include any promises about an increase of help from the U.S.
Is the president going to...
Look, I'm going to tell you guys straight up. I'm not funding, supporting. I don't want our money or our people, unless it's going to affect America. No. We'll give you guys humanitarian aid, but we don't want war. Why the hell would we be be sending money or any type of support over there until this stuff is resolved. If you need some aid, some food, some, food and water, we're your people. But we're not your people for a handout and constantly giving to the rest of the world. That's not what America's about. Okay? We're $37 trillion in debt, folks. Like, we need to start helping ourselves out of this mess before we start worrying about any damn body. $37 trillion in debt. It's disgusting. They robbed us blind. Damn Biden and his flipping auto pen. You guys have no clue. $93 billion went out without any checks and balances. Just handed out the last 70 days of the Biden administration. $93 billion to all their crony-ass friends. They robbed us blind. They robbed us blind. They robbed us blind. They robbed us blind. We are not the country of bailing everybody out. We're keeping our damn money. And you know what? Schumer can shut the country down for the next 7 weeks. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it and we will move forward, but we are not giving that SOB one more freaking dime to spend and waste on bullshit.
Well, I didn't say that. I'm just afraid. I will believe this when we will see that in action.
As the Ukraine-Russian war took center stage at the United Nations today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio met his Russian counterpart, urging Moscow to take meaningful steps toward a resolution. Experts say the motivation behind Trump's 180 could be pressure from Republicans in Congress or something more simple.
Or it could be the old...
I'll tell you what it is. It's because when Trump likes somebody, he expects them to work with him. He expects them to, come be reasonable. But when you take his kindness for a weakness, he's going to show you our strength. And that's exactly what we're dealing with here. Russia took his kindness for a weakness. So now we're going to prop up Ukraine and get this deal done. At the end of the day, we're going to strangle Russia off from, and we're going to do it with hefty penalties to the EU. I guarantee it. So anyways, like I said, we're going to be moving all of this conversation over to Rightmove. And if you guys notice the arrow. Anyways, I'll have to explain the logo design at some point. But we're going to be doing Rightmove Broadcasting. That's going to be our new channel that we're going to be developing for our political stance, our political commentary, our political ideology. I am a conservative, okay? I want to make sure people understand that. I have an R next to my name, but that doesn't mean who I am. At the end of the day, I'm a constitutional conservative, okay? And I have some libertarian bones in my body, believe it or not. I do have libertarian bones in my body. I believe that people should be not liberal bones. Libertarian and liberal are two totally different things. I understand people may not understand that, but libertarian is much different than liberal. Actually, they're probably polar opposites of each other. But I still have libertarian views in my body. That means I do believe people should be able to make their own decisions for themselves, have full body autonomy. I do not believe in abortions, okay? That's going to be a hot topic for many people. I believe that's murder of the womb. I will always believe that's murder of the womb. You can do whatever you want to your body when it's just your body. I think once a heartbeat is formed, that is a separate being other than you. You are just carrying that child because you're supposed to, and you're supposed to love that child. As we find out, we've got a lot of women all over this country that hates children, but still don't understand where they come from, and somehow manages to always get knocked up and then go out to a clinic and have it all taken care of. And it is a very brutal process. If you have never seen what an abortion is, I suggest you guys go review it, because I think a lot of people might change their mind about abortions once they look at how one's done. They also got rid of Alex Jones after being reinstated 24 hours. It doesn't matter. You guys all know that it's hypocrisy, right? They can do whatever they want, but if it's done to them, they scream victim. Let's face it. It's a freaking hate channels. That's why I'm so identifying so many behaviors. That's how I know half the hate channels are liberal assholes. because they all follow the same playbook. And many people are over there sucking that up while they're sitting there voting for Donald J. Trump. And it's the most insane stuff I've ever seen. Stay away from the hate channels. Probably we'll find out that these people that cover their face because they're probably part of those tranny gender militant groups. I mean, I keep wondering how ugly BT is, you know? Is she one of them? I don't know. She might be. Who knows? Anyways, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Get over to Right Move Broadcasting. We will be starting to roll that out. I believe we're going to be rolling that out next week. I'm looking at some other cases. We're going to be getting updated on Sebastian Rogers' case. We do have a flyer that needs to start being infiltrated out throughout our communities, or disseminated. Excuse me, did I say infiltrated? Disseminated out in our communities, our true crime communities, so people know where we're going to be in February. If you have not already taken the time off work and you want to be part of it, but you can't take the full week off, I need you there on the 26th. Okay, that is the 2-year anniversary. That's the day I want it to be the absolute biggest and loudest. And most people were there with a smile on our face, a sign in our hands, and waving at the community. We're not going to be nasty. I'm going to have a lot to say with my program and my bullhorn. All I need everybody else to do is just be out there waving their hands. We're going to have other people have an opportunity to speak to the group and the crowd. This is to put our best foot forward for Sebastian Rogers. We also need more prayers for Middle E. I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. E have kind of told you about the struggles that they're going through with their middle son, the tumor on his brain. They're very, very, very scared. He went through one very traumatic brain operation, and he has to go through another very traumatic brain operation. I'm sure, just as a human, but more importantly, if you have ever been a parent, you can only identify how scary this must be as a parent, right? You have your young children, you want them to be happy and healthy, and you find out one of your children is sick. And not just sick, but sick with a very scary ailment, such as cancer. And not just cancer. Cancer in and of itself is scary. But then you start putting that cancer inside of somebody's brain. Now you got yourself a very, very uncomfortable situation for the entire family. A very hopeless, helpless type of feeling. You are literally at the mercy of doctors and your savior. So they need prayers. And I pray to God that Middle E survives and gets the strength and help that he needs. I pray for the surgeons that are doing these operations, that they are able to use their skill and precision to get everything out of his brain. I pray for the family to be calm, cool, and collected through this immense struggle and just devastating news. I mean, this has got to be very devastating for him. We're very hopeful that there's going to be positivity at the end of this walk, but it's still very devastating. It's still very scary. And they've asked for the community to help. So what can we do as a community? They're not asking for money. They're not asking for gifts. They're not asking for flowers. They're asking for prayers. They're asking for hope. They're asking for a miracle. They're asking for a mountain to be moved. And I believe prayer moves mountains. So we've got a lot of mountains to move for them. So let's get working on it. If you guys think about it, please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. But more importantly, pray for their strength and pray for Middle East strength. One of the good news is their whole family, a lot of their family has had cancer, and a lot of their family has survived cancer. So those are positive things. Don't think because he's got brain cancer that this is it. It's not. I mean, their family is a walking miracle, and I believe they have another miracle left in them. So let's just keep prayers. Let's keep our eyes to the sky. And just pray for everybody. Middle E mostly, but we, in order for him to have the therapy and the good vibes, we need to pray for the people that surround him as well. Even his sister, his brother and his sister, they need prayers of strength, prayers of doing the right thing at the right time. You know, sometimes you fumble around when the stress is on. So anyways, that's just our prayer for them. I know that they have a very specific prayer on their channel. Please get over to Mr. and Mrs. E's post, read it, spread some love, be positive, is always so appreciative. And we're going to be working on trying to find some other stuff. We're going to be moving the political stuff over to our political channel, Right Move Broadcasting, Right Move Broadcasting. And we're going to start rolling that out here in the coming weeks. I don't really have a show for it yet, so until I get the show up and running, we're going to still be talking about these political crimes that have been making its way around our country right now. And I'll try to tamper down, but you know, and I'm just over it. No, I won't. I probably won't tamper it down. If it's too offensive for you, you might want to leave the channel for a while. You know, it's not going to hurt my feelings. But I'm not going to keep my mouth shut about how I feel about certain things. So, and I wouldn't expect any of you guys either. So that's just how I feel. So rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. We'll see you soon, and God bless.